Bistro light pole installation, day 1 of 2. Here is our hole location, and here are the tools we'll be using. That may seem like a lot, but you can do this entire job with just a shovel and a wheelbarrow. First, we'll clear these rocks away so we can get at the dirt below. We've laid down an old tarp and we're marking where our hole will be. We'll use scissors to cut a hole and give us access to the dirt below. You can use a shovel to dig this hole, but we've opted to use this gas-powered auger instead. An auger is a great option if you have 2 people because it makes quick work of digging the hole. Just turn the throttle and let it do the work. Next, we'll remove the dirt, then check the depth to make sure it's deep enough. It's not, so we'll bring the auger back in and go a little bit deeper. When using an auger, there sometimes will be a little bit of loose dirt at the bottom of the hole, and it's a wise idea to remove this. Here, we're using a shovel to square off the corners of our hole. Then, we'll clean the dirt off the tarp in preparation for the next step, which is pouring concrete. If you don't have an electric or gas-powered mixer, you can mix it by hand in a wheelbarrow, but this will be very labor-intensive. You can mix 1 bag at a time. Just add water, then use your shovel to mix the concrete until the water and the dry powder are fully mixed. You'll end up with concrete that looks about like this. You'll repeat this process as many times as is necessary to fill the hole. In this case, we'll be using an electric mixer. This mixer can hold 2 bags at once. It's a lot less labor intensive and is much faster. We'll dump in the concrete mix and then add a little bit of water. We'll turn the mixer on and start it mixing, then add more water as it spins to get it to the right consistency. Once it's at the right consistency, we'll turn the mixer off and dump it into the hole. Have someone hold a shovel to block the concrete from overshooting the hole and making a mess. Once the hole is full, use a shovel to settle the concrete and remove any air bubbles. You can also use an electronic vibrating tool to do the same thing. Next, we'll remove the mixer and the tarp. It's time to set the anchor bolt cluster. We use WD-40 on the threaded rods so that if concrete gets on them, it's easy to remove later. It will take some effort to push the anchor bolt cluster into the concrete as the threaded rods push past the aggregate. Once the anchor bolt cluster is in place, we'll use a level to get it to rough level. This will make it easier when we come back to install the pole. Day 2 of 2. Here, we have everything set out that we'll be using. First, use a wrench to loosen the nuts, then remove the nuts and the washers. Sometimes the plywood is stuck and is difficult to remove. If that's the case, you can use a saw to cut the plywood into smaller pieces. It's easier to remove this way. Next, use a wire brush to clean up the threaded rods. Once the threaded rods have all been cleaned, use a hand broom to clean the concrete. Once again, check to make sure that everything is nice and level. Then it's time to set the pole. Carry the pole into place, tilt it up, and let it slide down and rest on the washers. Next, install the washers and the nuts. Use 2 magnetic levels to verify that the pole is straight. If it's not, adjustments can be made. Once the adjustments have been made and the pole is straight, everything can be tightened down. Use a wrench and tighten the bolts using a cross pattern. Once everything's tightened down, it's time for dry packing. Only about half a bag will be used, and it can be mixed in this small tub. It's easy to add too much water and end up with dry pack that's too runny, so use a little bit of water, mix, and then add water as needed. When you're done, the grout should be about this texture and consistency, almost like wet sand. Use your hand to push the grout underneath the base plate of the pole. Push it under from all directions. Use a trowel to smooth out the grout. In this case, I've used too much grout, so I'll scoop some away. When you're all done, you should end up with something that looks about like this. And that completes the Bistro Light pole installation.